The real reason WWE let Baron Corbin go, a Royal Rumble surprise blocked by AEW, and TNA lives again. It lives. Oh no, sorry, I meant live. TNA was broadcast live last night. Because it will never die. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is the WrestleTalk news. As a boomerang shot.
Support WrestleTalk!
Get exclusive bonus videos over at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Let's start off with a nice heartwarming story for a change. The bittersweet end to a wrestling legend's career, Christopher Daniels. For anyone of a certain vintage, which is to say, lapsed Attitude Era fans who got into TNA in the mid-noughties, the fallen angel Christopher Daniels was one of the best wrestlers on the planet. When his unbreakable three-way with AJ Styles and Samoa Joe for the X Division title happened in 2005, you could actually feel the art of wrestling step into a new phase. To this day, it's still Will Ospreay's favourite ever match. Apart from some enhancement matches for early noughties WWE and WCW, Daniels was always in your favourite non-WWE promotion. His run in TNA was legendary. He wrestled in the main event of Ring of Honor's first ever show with Bryan Danielson and Loki. He wrestled the very decent opening match on All In against Arrow's Stephen Amell at a time when celebrity matches were not very decent. And he was a day one member of AEW, as part of the wrestling faction SCU and backstage as the head of talent relations. But the best thing he ever did was portray the Japanese wrestling character Curryman. He's hot, he's spicy, he tastes great. I'm not even being ironic there, he's awesome. Anyway, on the 18th of January episode of AEW Collision, he lost a Texas death match against Hangman Page. AEW didn't make a big deal of this match, apparently at Daniels' request, because that was actually his in-ring retirement. On AEW Dynamite and now posting on X confirming the reports, he says, "I'm sad that it's over, but so very happy that it happened. Thank you all." And he also shared photos of what his family have made for him when he got home from the airport. A mural of memorabilia honouring his 32-year career with a banner that read, "The legend has retired." Let's have a thank you Daniels chant in the comments down below. Thank you Daniels. Thank you, Daniels. Curryman in the Royal Rumble confirmed, because we sure won't be getting Malachi Black. Over the last 2 weeks, Malachi's House of Black faction mates have appeared to move on from him on AEW TV. Will Ospreay told Buddy Matthews that he should pursue a singles path, and Adam Copeland told Brody King to take the reins and run of the faction. King would later file for the trademark for the Hounds of Hell, which could be his and Buddy's new tag team post House of Black, because their leader, Malachi, is reportedly done with the promotion. Multiple sites claimed that Malachi was done with AEW, but there was some disagreement over whether time should be added to his contract. PW Insider is now reporting, though, that Black is fully finished up with AEW and he will not be making a final appearance to send him off. The report also notes that due to Black's contract, he will not become a free agent in time for next Saturday's Royal Rumble, meaning he can't be a surprise entrant in that match. Instead, he is expected to become available later in February or March. Then again, that's what we all thought when Black was released by WWE back in 2021. But he turned up in AEW shortly after because WWE apparently forgot to ever update his contract to a main roster one, so he was still on NXT's 30-day non-compete clause. Now here's a word from this video's sponsor.
Tempest! Tempest! I have a tummy ache. Tempest!
A tummy ache, you say?
Yeah, I've got a tummy ache. But hang on, who are you?
I'm the boring food man.
The boring food man?
The boring food man.
But how are you going to cure my tummy ache?
I'm going to give you so much boring food that you'll be busy complaining about how boring this food is rather than about your tummy ache.
No, I don't want boring food. I'll be bored.
Only the boring get bored, Luke. Only the boring get bored.
Have you tried Magic Spoon?
Magic Spoon?
Yeah, Magic Spoon. It's quite possibly the opposite of boring.
No, Luke, don't listen to him. He's spewing lies.
Magic Spoon is a delicious, high-protein cereal that has no artificial flavoring. Magic Spoon is great for a low-carb lifestyle, has the great taste you love with more protein and less sugar. You can also try Magic Spoon's treats. They're crispy, crunchy, and airy without the chewy stickiness of a protein bar. It's the ideal protein on the go. Use the code WrestleTalk or click the link in the description to try Magic Spoon treats or granola today and get $5 off. You can also find Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee online. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So click the link in the description to go to magicspoon.com/WrestleTalk or scan the QR code on screen for $5 off.
No! Interesting, lovely, high-protein food! My one weakness!
Out with you, boring food man!
Oh, it's a pull door.
I'm pushing it, it's just not working!
He said it's a pull door.
I'm pushing it!
No, you have to pull it.
Well, this is a new low.
What a weird thing. Oh, I'm gonna. Can I have some of the Magic Spoon now?
I remember it like it was yesterday, the January 4th, 2010 episode of TNA Impact. It was a new era for the best wrestling promotion in the world. I thought at the time, Hulk Hogan was in. We didn't know about the racist stuff yet. Eric Bischoff was in. He didn't have a podcast back then. Jeff Hardy, Rob Van Dam, Mr. Anderson, Ric Flair. They all debuted on TNA's special live episode on that date. Because for the first time ever, TNA had moved to Monday nights to go head-to-head with Raw. I legitimately thought, as an idealistic 23-year-old, that TNA would topple WWE and become the #1 promotion in the world. It ultimately lasted about 2 months and they moved back to Thursdays. But here we are, 15 years later, and TNA ran another live episode of Impact. Hot off the announcement of their official partnership with WWE and the really good Genesis PLA at the weekend, the live show saw Fraxium successfully defend their NXT tag team titles against the Rascals. NXT's Ariana Grace, funnily the daughter of TNA Director of Authority Santino Marella, was on commentary for that match, and NXT's Wes Lee interfered, costing his former Rascals teammates the win. And NXT's Cora Jade had an angle with TNA Knockouts champion Masha Slamovich. In terms of non-WWE angles, Mustafa Ali returned to TNA to announce that he's officially signed a new contract. Matt Cardona was the surprise challenger for Joe Hendry's freshly won TNA World Championship, which JBL weirdly helped him retain again. TNA will definitely make JBL their top champion in the next few months. It's the most TNA thing they could do. And the 23 mystery teasers were revealed to be PCO's kayfabe wife, Steph DeLander, returning from neck surgery, where she is now TNA's digital media champion, holding the definitely not destroyed belt, which is pretty interesting because we all saw PCO smash that title with a sledgehammer on Sunday night. To quickly recap, PCO was TNA's digital media champion. His contract expired at the end of last year. It's reported he verbally agreed a new deal, but then TNA lowered the money. He agreed to that new one as well, and then they said, well, actually, we're not renewing you, even though he was their reigning digital media champion. So PCO brought the title into the ring at a GCW show, smashed it with a sledgehammer, and said how bad TNA is. He then went on Twitter and heavily criticized the new management. Unsurprisingly, PCO has now been removed from TNA's roster page. The original plan was apparently for PCO to appear at the live show and drop the belt, but they've retconned that out by having DeLander explain the title is now hers as part of her divorce from PCO. Introducing her new debuting on-screen boyfriend, Mance Warner, who has wrestled for GCW and MLW. Overall, PW Insider is reporting that TNA officials were very happy with the live broadcast, and that they hope to do them at least once a month. Just when you count TNA out, they somehow bounce back in a new way. I think we all thought them getting rid of Scott D'Amore, even though he masterminded the very successful rebrand back to TNA last January, was another nail in the coffin. But TNA, it kicks out at 2 more than the opener on your favourite indie show. And it could all be part of WWE's master plan, because Triple H thinks 28 steps ahead. Wrestling Observer Radio has reported that some close to the situation think this will end with WWE owning TNA, with the main reason being the wrestling industry's complicated global chessboard. With the vast majority of WWE's non-US TV rights now all belong to Netflix, WWE have left a very valuable international territory open for the taking. India. Coincidentally, it was the Indian TV rights money that kept TNA alive during their financial woes of the 2010s. Back in 2019, a WWE official claimed 50 million Indians watch Raw and SmackDown every week on the Sony 10-1 channel. If true, that's 10 times larger than the Raw Netflix debut for the entire world. WWE going to Netflix was always going to create a huge opportunity for AEW to come in and take that market for themselves. So WWE could be using TNA as a way to block that by getting Impact a bigger deal there instead, with the promise of main roster WWE stars appearing on those shows. Which could also be a way for Baron Corbin to work his way back into the company. In a new interview with Chris Van Vliet, Tom Pestock, the former Baron Corbin in WWE, has revealed he was shocked when he found out WWE wasn't renewing his contract late last year. It just had another successful re-gimmick in NXT, forming the excellent Wolf Dogs team with Bron Breakker, and was called back up to the main roster in the April draft. He speaks about how he was getting some of the best reactions of the night on live shows, with only Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens being louder, but Creative ultimately told him they wanted to go in a different direction, and they let his contract expire on the 31st of December. He claims that a lot of people in WWE reached out to him, including Randy Orton from out of nowhere. Randy's like, dude, I honestly thought you were going to be here another 10 years. I don't understand it. Do you mind if I talk to Hunter about it? I don't know if he ever did, but he's like, somebody doesn't like you. I feel like I know who it is, and that's beside the point. But they had enough power to either kill Creative or whatever it is, and they gotta go to bed with that at the end of the night, and that's on them. I think the most frustrating part of me is not understanding why, really. There's an ulterior motive there because, again, I've been a company guy through and through. I think there's one person in particular that I think was behind all of it. I mean, the fact that Randy Orton's calling me going, there's someone that doesn't like you, and again, I know who it is, and I told him, and he's like, yeah, you're probably right. Pestock doesn't think it's Triple H, as Levesque was always one of his biggest supporters going back to his early days in NXT. But then again, that's what wrestlers would always say about Vince McMahon, thinking it wasn't Vince who made the call, it was JR or John Laurinaitis or whoever was in control of talent relations, when ultimately it was Vince's and now Triple H's decision. An exciting announcement! Saturday 25th, we'll see the first episode of our brand new series going deep, like way too deep, into the Rock vs. John Cena feud from 2011 to 2013. And episode 1 is Luke and I reviewing everything to do with WrestleMania 27, the one Rock first returned to host, for 4.5 hours. That's 45 minutes longer than WrestleMania 27 itself. And it's mostly us talking about how terrible the main event is. You can watch our Royal Rumble 2014 review to see what it's like by clicking the video down below right now. But for now, here's a clip of us doing Mania 27.
But eventually they just lost faith in it. And what we get instead is the core versus the lads. And the lads just squash them and win.
Yeah.
And if ever there was a damning indictment of how much of a failure the Nexus was in terms of making new stars, it's this match right here. Because these are supposed to be those new stars they were creating with SummerSlam 2010. And not 9 months later are they here at WrestleMania losing in 90 seconds, where only one of them is in the match.
Wade Barrett is having pay-per-view main events. He's the main focus of Raw for months.
Could have been WWE champion.
Where John Cena, Randy Orton, he's in the mix with those guys. And by this point, he's wearing that core t-shirt. He is a tag team champion, though.
No, he's the Intercontinental champion.
Oh my God.
Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel are the tag team champions, and Ezekiel Jackson is there.
If, in today's era of WWE, if you were the tag champs and the Intercontinental champ in your faction, that's a credible threat right there.
That was the Judgment Day. They had the World Heavyweight Champion and the Tag Team Championships.
I take it back a bit. Yeah, I take it back.